purity of heart and clarity of vision, by abstaining from enjoyments and having few desires, so that you can be a proper recipient of the knowledge from this teacher. As you should know that you are his messenger in whatever he teaches you to those people in ignorance who may come to you. This is Imam Zain al-Abidin alayhi salam. So it is necessary for you to deliver his message, to impart the knowledge to them beautifully, and not to commit a breach of trust while conveying his message, and to fulfill your duty on his behalf when you have undertaken it. And there is no power or strength save through Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala.
You did not answer me my question.
Move the mic.
Sorry. My question is, you see, of course, the respect for teachers is always something that everyone knows.
So then why is everybody asking us to leave our teachers?
No. My question is a theoretical question, as I said. You said maybe you were a bit sensational, you were exaggerating, but you said we never leave this teacher. Oh, this means that we believe that he never may commit a mistake, he never may do something that we would be in a position to criticize. Now, suppose if you say this, if all the Maraja come and tell you this path is wrong, will you desist, or you say no, our path is right and you are wrong? Theoretically I'm speaking, okay? Just imagine. I mean, we can theoretically speak. Because now we are not talking about, as I said, that's why I don't want to mention names, because we're not talking about people. We are talking about methods. We are talking about the way we have to enlighten others as well to go forward. Now, of course, probably, again, you were a bit angry of what had happened, so you said these people are megalomaniac or something like that, which, again, I don't think an Arif should use this, but...
I didn't say I was an Arif.
Anyhow, theoretically, is that possible that if, for example, Maraja and others tell you that this is a wrong path, you would accept, or you wouldn't accept? Theoretically.
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. I think some of these statements are conditional statements. So for example, from the perspective of loyalty or wafa, one would remain loyal to their teacher. So it may be on that basis that a statement is made, not that my basis is this person is supra-angelic and that's why I'm not leaving him. It may be from the perspective of loyalty that I would not leave a person. In the same way, we would never denounce our father on the basis of being loyal to our father, not on the basis that my father is infallible. So when a statement is made, it is made in a certain way, not to put words in Shaykh Abbas's mouth, but it may be from that perspective of loyalty that one would say that. And from another perspective, if one's father, whether that be a spiritual father or a material father, made a mistake, it may be more appropriate in the situation to remind them of their obligations within the Sharia and the Islamic laws, as opposed to cutting ties with them when they have seen the mistakes we've done for many years and had vast hearts, that the moment we see a mistake, we'd go and at the moment kick them out of the door. So maybe through that loyalty, one would remind them of their way, as opposed to without question saying, no, they must be right in what they do. So through being loyal to a teacher, that does not obscure one's intellect and one's moral judgment at a theoretical plane.
Okay, can we move on? I think we got about 12. You must remember, the whole world is watching this program, please. Keep your questions polite, your comments polite, and come forward, because they want to hear your question quite clearly. So I'll let Hussein Bhai decide who comes forward.
I think Akil put his hand up first, so it's only fair for me to go to him.
Yeah, come
and then
forward.
I'll go around. Yes,
Hussein,
sir.
bring them here.
Akil, can you come to the front? Okay,
please.
It's all right.
No.
He might be limping. It's okay.
Okay, all right. We'll have to repeat the question then. The guy is shy.
Assalamu alaikum. I'm not sure who this question's to really, but I just get the image right now that I'm not really certain about what the real issue is. I think from where it seems that Irfan can only be some way to reach to Allah. So in that sense, it has to be something which is inherently good. However, is it the question more of how you exercise this? In which case, this would then be a question to, I think, Sheikh Abbas. Is it a question of dependency? When you follow you gave the example of a football coach or a doctor having a teacher. Is that a question of a sole teacher and dependent on one teacher, or is it an open mind trying to extract information from all perspectives and not being solely dependent on one person? Is that what it is? It seems that seems to be the underlying issue here.
Assalamu alaikum, brother. No, one is not saying that you must have one teacher only. But just like when you have established a relationship with a certain teacher, you will obviously go to that teacher and spend most time with that teacher, which is the most logical thing. If you have developed a relationship with a certain martial arts trainer who's trained you for years, you will refer to that teacher because that's the teacher who spent most time with you. Not to say that you cannot study martial arts or other martial arts with other teachers or other different types of things. Does that make it clear? Ask the people who are making it an issue, brother.
Yeah, can we have one question from the ladies? Sister Isma?
Assalamu alaikum. Before I ask the question, could I just please clarify that tonight's session is about the topic of Irfan, and whilst it does consider the issues surrounding it, it shouldn't really be focused on just the one controversy. So, as we were saying, you need a guide, you need a mentor. How do you identify who that guide or mentor should be? That question's open to everyone.
So, question to both. Sheikh Brahmanpur, do you want to start, please?
Please, go.
Oh, Sheikh Abbas, all right.
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. The question with regards to a teacher is quite complex in some cases and quite simple in others. There are some who advise that when you do take a teacher on the spiritual path of Irfan, you should ensure that this teacher has reached the end of the journey. He is perfect with regards to his soul and ability to control himself, and then only should you go and follow him. Of course, this answer doesn't make sense to the person who's just beginning such a path. He's not able to decipher if somebody is completely perfect, whether somebody has reached the end of the path that he's just beginning. Allama Tabatabai advises quite clearly, and he mentions that you should stay with a teacher who you feel or believe that he is on the right path. You should accompany him in public and in secret to ensure that he is someone who acts on his words that he mentions in public, and even in private he is one who acts in the same way as he is advising others. So when you begin to accompany someone in both public and private settings, and you know that this person is now somebody who does not go outside of the Sharia, somebody who stays within the Sharia, someone whose advices are all those that take you closer to Allah, then you can take somebody as your general guide, like you would take any other teacher as a general guide. This is the basis of teaching and the basis of finding a guide. Thereafter, if this guide therefore moves a step further, and now he tells you, for example, or gives you specific advices for yourself, it's only obvious that one should stay within their intellect and the Sharia. So any advice that's given to you, you bounce it off the Sharia to ensure that it's within it, and you take it through your intellect. If it makes sense to you and it stays within the Sharia, you follow it. If it doesn't make sense to you, or you believe it goes out of the Sharia, then according to the students of Allama Tabatabai himself, they say leave the teaching but not the teacher. It's possible the teacher made a mistake, so you ask the teacher. It's possible that you haven't understood the advice correctly, so you ask the teacher. But this is the initial stages of understanding how one can find a teacher and what type of teacher one should take on as a guide.
Thank you. Now I'll go and ask a question which I've received as a text to both lecturers. I've heard and know that the student of such a teacher practice vegan diet. I hope I'm pronouncing it right. Is this the practice in the Shia faith? Sheikh, did you get the question? Yeah? Did the public hear? Okay, I'll read it again. To both lecturers, I've heard and know that the student of such a teacher practice vegan diet. Is this practice in the Shia faith? Not vegetarian is something different. It's a vegan diet when I don't think there's a fish allowed, eggs allowed, cheese allowed, and things like that. So it's maybe, Sheikh, can you
Well,
start?
as far as I know, it's not something in our fiqh, anyhow. Especially vegan. About meat, we have certain instructions that, for example, it's better that you do not eat much meat. What I have read in the book of one of the most respected Urafa, Mirza Jawad Agha Maliki Tabrizi, he says that the best diet for meat is that you do not eat it twice a day and you eat it every other day. Ghazali says that the best food for children is meat. Of course, you give them meat because this is better for their nutrition. Vegan diet, that is not using milk, egg, any product of animals. I haven't seen anything in Shia fiqh about it.
Sheikh Abbas Bhai?
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. As with regards to the vegan diet being within the Sharia or not, it's quite obvious to anyone who has studied the Sharia and read even the basic Risala Amaliyah that this is not a prescription that the awliya of the Imma themselves have given. It is not within the Shia madhab that this is a wajib act, or it's a haram act, or it's a makruh act, or it's a mustahab act according to the Imma. However, that doesn't mean that anything which does not go against the Sharia cannot be acted upon. For example, the Sharia will not tell you to drive a car, but you know that it doesn't go outside of the Sharia, so you may drive a car. In the same way, we find quite explicit ahadith, for example, not to make one's stomach the graveyard of dead animals. We have specific ahadith that one should not eat, one should not stay away from meat for more than 40 days. So if somebody wants to take on a vegan diet, firstly, they're absolutely free to do as they wish, so long as it's within the Sharia. The Sharia has never said that you have to be vegan or you cannot be a vegan. This is a personal matter and doesn't mean that anybody should enter this personal matter. However, let me take it a step further. When I was in Syria, I translated a book for the Islamic College. It was called Lisan al-Sidq, from Arabic to English. It was regarding the life of the student of Sayyid Qadi. He is the teacher of Sheikh Bahjat, whom all of you probably have heard of. His name is Sayyid Abdul Karim al-Kashmiri. He advises his students on many different aspects, and those advices have been written down in this book. One of the advices he gives that he's taken from his teacher, Sayyid Taliqani, is that he has given us a prescription, a guidance if you want to call it, to stay away from meat for a certain amount of days, so long as it doesn't exceed 40, because then it becomes makruh. Not even haram, it becomes makruh. Furthermore, he goes on to prescribe this advice to his own students. And he says, not only should this diet be taken upon the people who have gone further in their journey towards Allah, but it's especially important for those who are beginning their journey to Allah to ensure that any characteristics that may come from animals or that may come from any other species, be it cows, be it birds, that it ensures that it doesn't take them towards those characteristics. So let me reiterate that this vegan diet is within the bounds of the Sharia, meaning it's not makruh, it's not haram. So long as it's not makruh, it's not haram, and no one is making it wajib, let people do what they wish to do. We have bigger problems in our community than to worry about people and what they eat and what they don't.